What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. So today is a versus episode, and before I even start, I want to thank everyone who watched the previous versus episode, if you are indeed watching this one as well, Van der Sar versus Ter Stegen. It was super successful, and I'm really glad that a lot of you guys seem to enjoy it. It caused some interaction in the comment section too, which was really good, and that's what those videos are supposed to do: spark some debate, hopefully guide you towards the best possible player. So anyway, this is our next episode, and without further ado, I want to announce who it's on. So it's on Antoine Griezmann and Kylian Mbappe, two French forwards. Two very good players, obviously, two prolific goal scorers in real life, and two pretty good players on the game as well. So the reason I picked these two is because they're both French strikers. They're a little bit different players, with Mbappe being more of that pace merchant. He's got the 5-star skills. He does have the slightly better dribbling, but Griezmann's got more passing and more shooting on his base card, which is actually really interesting. So just as a point of reference, because some people care about this, I did play the team this way when Griezmann was in, and when Mbappe was in, I put Di Maria here and then Mbappe up top, because otherwise Mbappe wouldn't have gotten 10 chemistry. So they were playing with 10 chemistry, so no need to worry about that. Now, before we get into the statistics, I do just want to talk about player feel. I have played a ton of games with Griezmann. I've played 218 games, 170 goals, and 115 assists. That's a tremendous return. So no matter what I say later in this video, know that Antoine Griezmann is a very good player and a good goal scorer. So that's just important to note. Now, obviously, Mbappe, I believe he's either the third or fourth most expensive gold card in the game. He's either right in front of or right behind Neymar. So it's obviously Messi, Ronaldo, and then either Mbappe or Neymar, and then the other one's next. So obviously, people really value this card. He's 89 rated, which is actually the same as Griezmann, which is interesting. But it's all about that stat distribution. So on Mbappe, he does have that 96 pace, which again blows Griezmann out of the water. But it is interesting to note that his shooting is actually not as good as Griezmann. Now, I think some of that is because volleys and penalties are very high for Griezmann, if I had to guess. So let's look at Mbappe's. Yeah, volleys and penalties are very low. They're actually attack positioning and finishing. I think Mbappe is a little bit better. But the passing, Griezmann is far, far better, which actually leads me into a point I want to make. I think everybody who's watching this video kind of knows that Mbappe is a better striker. But if you don't need a striker and you're looking at these two players for a different position, I think Griezmann would actually make a better cam than Mbappe. So I think if you played this this way, that would actually be very viable. Playing Griezmann at cam and Mbappe at striker, them working together in that way might be the best way to use these two players rather than choosing one over the other. Because, as I said, Griezmann's a good player, especially for his price, which I did not mention yet. That was a mistake. I apologize. I bought him for 182. I bought him a long time ago. Obviously, I've used him for a while, so don't mind that. He is going for about 85,000 coins right now, and Mbappe I got this morning for 670,000 coins. So he's been fluctuating, been as low as 650. He started the year, and he was over 1 million coins for quite a while. So I do just want to make that point that if you don't have to choose between both of these cards, this would be a really viable way to set them up. So we are going to jump into the statistical analysis portion of the video, and then we will talk through some of those stats right now. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the statistical analysis for these two players. As always, Mbappe, the more expensive player, up at the top. Griezmann down below. So the important thing I want to note is strikers do seem to just have higher average ratings. Like if we just take a peek at the goalkeepers from last time, obviously average ratings were lower, Van der Sar and Ter Stegen. If I still have defenders in there, defenders actually higher than I thought. In midfield as well. So maybe it's just goalkeepers are lower. But it did seem that both of these players did have high average ratings. But that's good. It means they're both very good players. So if we just take a quick look at Griezmann, he had one game below an 8, but he had 3 games of exactly 8. Whereas Mbappe only had 2 games below a 9.0. He had 2 games of 9, an 8.1 and a 7.6. So consistency, you got to hand it to Mbappe there. Not to mention he had higher highs, 2 9.2s and a 9.5. That's quite good. Whereas Griezmann did have that little bit lower average rating. So 8.8 compared to 8.3, almost a full half point. An entire half point better from Mbappe, which is significant, especially when you're talking 8.8 versus 8.3. Now, the reason for that was goals and assists. Mbappe, I really... this last game was very frustrating. I really wanted him to score one, so I could say Mbappe scored in every game. But unfortunately, he didn't. He did get 1 goal in each of the first 4, and then a brace in both a game we won on penalties and a rage quit game. Giving him a goal-to-game ratio of about 1.14, which means he's going to score over a goal per game for you. And this, again, is in Weekend League. Somebody commented on the last video asking what rank I usually get to. I feel like I've mentioned in previous videos, but hey, I don't mention it every time. So a perfectly reasonable question, and I'm happy to share that just so you guys know where my perspective is coming from. I average about 15 to 16 wins per weekend. I hover between gold 3 and gold 2. Have gotten as high as 18, 20 wins fairly regularly this year. So just so you guys know, it's about a gold 2 perspective, just FYI. So anyway, Mbappe is going to get you 1.14 goals per game, and he's also going to get you about 0.7 assists per game, which is quite good as well. He assisted once in each of the first 3 and twice in that rage quit game. So giving us 5 assists. Now Griezmann only had 5 goals, five games with just a single goal, giving him a 0.71 ratio, and then just 4 assists, giving him a 0.57, which is an assist every other game, while Mbappe is more like an assist, 2 assists every 3 games. So in terms of goal contributions, Mbappe's got that locked up, absolutely dominates that field, so we'll give him the yellow. Actually, we'll give him the blue. The blue is going to be for victory here. So he does win in the first 3 categories. If we move on to shots on target and percentages, Mbappe had double the shots on target successful as Griezmann, 20 to 10, and also had the better ratio. So again, blows him out of the water there. When we're talking passing, Mbappe had not only more passes, but also a better ratio, so he wins there again. And finally, moving into dribbling, Mbappe took more dribbles, but Griezmann was slightly better, just about a percentage point better. So we will give him the tick there. Now, when we look at skills, weak foot, and work rate, this high-low work rate, well, let's get to that in a second. 5-star skills from any attacker is obviously very valuable, better than 4-star skills. 4-star weak foot. Mbappe is right-footed with a 4-star weak foot on his left foot. Obviously better than a 3-star weak foot on his right foot. And that does play. Like, you can tell that. Mbappe definitely felt like he could score with either foot. He definitely did. Maybe I should start marking down how many goals are scored with weak feet. How many weak-footed goals are scored? I don't know if it's easily trackable, but I can take a look at that. But with Griezmann, it does feel like you're moving towards his left foot at least a little bit more. And this is the reason I'd say one might be better as a cam and one as a striker. High-low work rates are ideal for strikers. It helps them stay forward. It helps them be ready on a counterattack. They're always playing off that last man, and that is definitely noticeable with Mbappe. Griezmann, he does come back to drop into, even though he's put on stay forward, he does drop in just a little bit deeper. So as you can pretty clearly tell, Mbappe is the far better player. Now, we talk price range and value. I think Mbappe is worth 670k. He's not worth the 800 to a million coins that he was going for earlier in the year, but I think for under 700,000 coins, Mbappe is definitely a good choice. Now, Griezmann's a good choice if you're looking for a striker under 100k, but in this comparison, the more expensive player is actually the better player. I know it doesn't often work out like that at all, but in this case, paying up for the more expensive player is going to contribute, I think, to more wins over the course of a 30-game weekend league. Obviously, again, 4 wins, 3 losses for each player, but in 7 games, it's a little bit too small of a sample size to draw from, especially because your form changes throughout the weekend league, and it's not, I just don't have a great way of tracking that, unfortunately. But all in all, I do think Mbappe is the winner of this episode of Versus. He far outperforms Griezmann, and even at that price, I think he's valuable enough and will contribute to enough games to help you. If you're going to spend up, attackers are the place to do it, at least in my opinion. So that's going to be it for this episode of Versus. I hope you guys enjoyed. If it's anywhere near as successful as the last episode was, I hope everybody hits that like button, that subscription button. Again, comment down below. We can get involved and get engaged with each other, have a debate or discussion. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.